guys, it's your boy Gedden, and I'm back with a special. You know, every once in a while, outside of my morning drives, at any time of the day, really, I normally, do a little special if something is coming out, or if there's a crazy movie, or if there's just something to talk about. And today, special day, like it's whatever random name, something. Make it, like kind of branded. But But yeah, today is a special day if you are an NFL fan. Damn, this person made the left turn in the wrong area, going down the one way. It's crazy. Anyway, people drive crazy. I don't know what it is. I've been telling my friends this, but it just seems like after COVID, people always drove a little crazy in New Jersey, and depending on what town you live, they drive even extra crazier. But after COVID, it just seems like people drive even more crazier and more aggressive. Crazy and aggressive at the same time, not a good combination. But yeah, today is a special day if you're an NFL fan because we got the NFL draft today. So, I just wanted to blab on that. And it made me think about ESG football because ESG football, there's another beta this weekend, another closed beta this weekend, but it's a beta tournament. And in the beta tournament, it's really cool. They actually draft players, which is crazy. It's crazy that they actually draft players on how you play. They draft you on how you play, on the position that you play as. And yeah, but then sometimes it can be in one little area by this school, kind of shady. But yeah, good morning to you both. Thank you guys for through. Be so kindly, my two fellow brethren, please hit that like. Definitely helps that I got 3 people in here and I get 3 likes. That definitely helps. It definitely helps. So yeah, thank you for coming through. Who you waiting for on your Giants? That's exactly what I'm gonna talk about. I'm gonna talk about who I really want in the Giants draft and who they might trade or who they might draft in actuality. So yeah, good morning to everybody out there. So let's just get started. I was talking about ESG, so I'm gonna just stay on that. That ESG football, again, the game is fire. It's all different positions you could play on defensive line, linebacker, cornerback. Hello. Whoa. A little early in the morning for that. Anyway, hey guys, thank you guys. I got 5 people in here. Please hit that like. I definitely appreciate it. Please hit that like. But yeah, man, I pray they don't ruin the draft by announcing EA NFL sim contract. And no, they're not gonna do. That's not gonna happen. But what is going to get revealed today? I think more than likely today we'll see what that Madden 26 look like. Remember guys when they do the draft images, the rookies in the next Madden or current Madden that's going to come out in that current year, and they will have the draft picks in the game. They stopped doing that for whatever reason. I don't know why. I thought that was kind of cool, but whatever. But yeah, as I was saying, ESG football, because you can play different positions depending on your position. We looked at footage of you playing. They will actually draft you high, and the first project with everyone to get a feel on how people play, what type. I did that. Don't. Okay. Yeah. So good morning to everyone out there. Thank you for coming through. This is just a special. This is not the Good Morning Drive episodes that I normally do, but it's kind of basically the same damn thing. I just want to call it Good Morning Drive because I'm on Mondays. But yeah, so they're gonna actually draft people for the this weekend for ESG football, another beta on that PlayStation 5. The last one I participated in. This one I will not participate in because I'm just really busy this weekend. I got a lot of things to do and I got to work my other job, so I'm just not gonna have enough time to play all the games and really support my team. And I don't want to be a wasted space and people waiting on me. You know what I mean? So I rather just look on if I can, and that's it. You know what I mean? But yeah, in the future though, ESG football is going to be so fire because how they're gonna have the game for like an esports or sponsored tournament play is people are gonna have their teams, but they're gonna have like live commentary. I'm just assuming. I don't know exactly how they're gonna have it, right? I'm just assuming. Just about every game that's like professional players, they have live commentary. Madden has it. Street Fighter has it. StarCraft. I still watch StarCraft. How crazy is that? I'm a gamer. I'm a nerd for real. For a low key, your boy's a nerd. StarCraft, a real time strategy game. I watch that time to time. And they have announcers, right? And it's going to be fire when the announcers are talking over the gameplay of ESG football, 7-on-7 or 11-on-11, and they're pulling up stats of players. Oh my God, that'll be fire! Oh, imagine an ESG 7-on-7 season with commentary, stat tracking, and all. Oh my God, that's gonna be so fire! Oh my God, that's gonna be so dope. That's gonna ESG is the future, man. ESG is the freaking future. It really is. All they got to do is keep on progressing. ESG gonna be so fire. All right, Kurt, you light me up. I gotta respond to your questions. I'm sorry, bro. Sorry for the delay. It's never too early for that. Yeah, you're right. I guess. Yeah, we just want to know if they're gonna re-up or not, right? We all hope that they don't re-up that damn NFL contract, or they alter that contract a little bit, you know, because EA knows the game is trash. Of course, they don't want to compete. The last time that they actually had a competing game was NBA Live, and got destroyed. But I have a theory up on that, on what's up with why EA isn't making a NBA game, and why maybe 2K isn't making a generic simulation football game without the NFL license. I have a theory on that. Plus, with AAA gaming about to change everything, so I don't know. That's why not dead, no deal yet. I don't know. I know why there's no deal yet, Kerr. I commented before. This isn't the ending year. They always at the start of the year of their last contractual agreement year. In the beginning of that year, that's when they negotiate or announce a deal. When that year is expiring, they've done that throughout the history of EA and NFL licensing agreements. I did a video on that. I spoke on it, and more than likely, like 80% of the time, maybe more, that's when the only time when it got weird is after 2013, 2014. That's the only time they got weird, when they announced when that NFL contract is up. That's the only time when it got weird. All the other 3 or 4 deals that they did, spot on a year, that ending year, or that beginning of that last year, that's when they announced their extension. So 2026 is the last season, but EA's time is up. All right, so let's think about it. It's not 2026 is the last year, but in a way you're right. But it's the end of 2026 season, meaning 2027. 2026 is a whole new year, right? And football goes on into the next year. So the beginning of 2026 or the end of 2025 is when they're going to make an announcement. So we got a lot of time. We got this whole year to wait on, right, to see what they're doing. And 2K has been extremely quiet on the game that they're developing. Extremely quiet. They're not even They made the announcement about the agreement, but then that's it. It's like it's like they it's like whomever at 2K, it's like whomever at 2K who put the licensing deal together. Excuse me, put the licensing deal together. Didn't tell Visual Concepts, didn't tell the game developers anything. It's like they got caught with their pants down. How crazy is that? That's what it seems. Because they didn't have a game already ready to go as soon as they made that licensing deal, right? Think about it. If you got a licensing deal with the NFL again, no matter what game it is, if you are 2K, you would think, oh, we should have been having a game ready to go. We should have been developing a game so it's ready to go as soon as we announce this licensing deal, so that we have all the hype and momentum all with that deal. It's like they didn't know that people wanted a game. It's like they didn't know they even was getting the license, you know? So AAA rule changes in Europe and then soon to be USA, and I'm going to push back on that as well. To me, this is how lobbying works. To me, this is how lobbying works. A politician would make a big deal on something and say, oh, we need these regulations. These politicians in the EU and in America do not care about. So, with that being said, the less regulations you have, the more money corporations can make, because they don't have to test things, because they don't have to worry about getting sued, right? If a product comes out and blows up your house, they're not going to get sued because, oh, it's not regulated, so it's a whole point. But that's the gist of it. So for politicians to bring up, oh, the loot boxes in, oh, and it is a part two to this too, the loot boxes or the scummy ways that EA makes money, and in NBA 2K, we got to change that. No, what they actually are doing is trying to drum up lots and campaign donations, right? So that's part one. Part two is what the corporations do is, okay, you take out one thing that you want to regulate, because you're saying it's harming gamers or people or whatever. We're going to add something else, but not really get rid of the core of what you're trying to do. For an example, NBA 2K, politicians in the EU, they're saying that, oh, these digital items, they have a currency behind them, and that currency is tricking players to spend more money. That's cool that you can disagree, and that's great that we can talk about it and disagree, and you're still subscribed, and I still respect you, right? That's perfectly fine that we could disagree. But listen to what I'm saying, and just look at history. So this is what they're doing with NBA 2K. They're saying players are being tricked because they're using a currency, and they're not understanding that they're spending so much money on VC, on virtual currency, and currencies universally, right? With with other games, loot boxes or whatever, right? So they're proposing that, look, if they knew it was wrong, right, which they do know it's wrong to have pay-to-win games on games that you are already paying for to buy, like NBA 2K, $70, $90 if you want to get a certain edition, and then another $50, that's $140 plus tax on one game yearly. They know what's going on. They don't care. And my point is, what they're proposing is not even a Band-Aid. It's literally like a kick a can down the road, right? They're proposing just show the prices of these digital pieces in real world money, whatever the currency is. What does that do? Nothing. That does nothing. Say if a digital item is $5 or $4 or $3. People are just going to spend the $3, $4, $5 on that digital item instead of buying the currency. You may think you're saving money in the long run because whatever the digital item costs is never matches up to the actual cost of the currency bundle that you buy. You buy, you spend $5 on the currency, but in real life, the digital item is $6. So now you got to get the $10 currency bundle. So what they're going to do is they think it might be a good idea. Oh, $6, they'll just spend the $6. But people who still want to buy the currency bundles, they're still going to buy that. It's still not getting rid of the problem. Getting rid of the problem is saying if you have microtransactions in your game cannot be sold at full price. It has to be free to play, right? Or vice versa. If you do have a game that's $70 or $80 in Mario Kart, right? Your DLC or no, your microtransactions, not DLC, but your microtransactions have to be free or kept at a minimum. That's stopping the problem. They're not stopping the problem. They will never stop the problem. Why? Money talks. And Kurt, you got me off my subject, and I'm done talking about it. But that's what I'm saying. And that's the truth in terms of history. I don't like it. I'm not condoning it. I don't think it's fair for gamers for us to go out here and spend $70+ on a game and then go out there and buy all these microtransactions to enjoy the game. That shouldn't be the case. That really shouldn't be the case. You shouldn't have to. That's why I stopped playing NBA 2K, because the grind is too crazy to not put money into the game. And I refuse to put more money into the game after I'd spent $70, $80 on a game. I'm through with that. I can't do that anymore. So what I chose to do is not put my money into those games because they're not free to play. ESG is going to have microtransactions, but ESG is also going to be free to play. Europe and the USA are what, Kurt? Capitalist countries and nations, right? Capitalism. You cannot take capitalism out of anything in America and in the EU. The EU is a little less capitalistic. At least the EU, they have free healthcare or universal healthcare, right? You don't have to pay for college, right? You don't have to pay to go into a hospital, right? You don't have to pay for like other things, right? As in America, we are sick with capitalism. We are up to the top of our heads of drowning in capitalism, and they want more capitalism in the USA. USA is sick when it comes to capitalism, but that will never happen in America. They're only tippy-toeing in the EU, and maybe 5 to 10 years, that might actually change something. And honestly, EA, compared to what NBA 2K and what 2K does, EA, even though it's still shady, maybe is not as shady as 2K, because EA doesn't have a addictive my player mode where you're playing amongst your peers or other social gamers, um, wide open for everyone to see, and you don't have to buy. Well, in NBA 2K, you have to buy microtransactions VC to level up your player. You don't have that in Madden, where Madden is just, you're buying MUT packs. You don't have to buy MUT packs. You can just play the regular head-to-head. They don't have a my player deep mode like that, where they're nickel and diming you on multiple modes, right? NBA 2K does have that. NBA 2K has the My Player mode. They have a MUT-like Ultimate Series, and they also have online gameplay. They're nickel and diming you 2 or 3 modes, where EA is just nickel and diming you out of 1. So it's all shady, though. I don't like any of it, and that's why I had to stop playing NBA 2K, because I just don't see it ever changing because, again, we live in a capitalist nation. USA, EU, capitalism as well. They refuse to say we could be a socialist or whatever. We're always going to be a capitalist nation. Everybody stood up and clapped, whatever. But yeah, so let's move on. We're moving on to the Giants. That's a good side segment. I'm gonna put that in the title. Thanks, Kurt. Um, so let's talk about the Giants, who I want and who I think they actually might draft. And it's all situational because we got to see who the Tennessee Titans are going to draft in that first round. Who are the Tennessee Titans are going to draft with that first pick? Who? Is it going to be Cam Ward, which you would think it'll be Cam Ward, or is it going to be Abdul Carter, or even Travis Hunter? But everybody seems to think, I ran simulations. With that first pick of the first round, they're going to draft Abdul Carter. But if they don't and go with Ward, that pushes Carter to the second, to the second pick. Simulations that I've ran and what people are saying, the Browns are going to do something weird with that second pick. But let's say they don't. Let's say they get Travis Hunter. With the third pick, the Giants might actually pick Abdul Carter. And I watch a lot of Giants media and independent media, or so I think it's independent media. And a lot of people are foaming at the mouth with Abdul Carter. And I think Abdul Carter is going to be a phenomenal player as long as he's in the right situation, as long as he's on the right defense. And the right defense is not the Giants' defense. I do not want the Giants to draft Abdul Carter. And very so, they might draft Abdul Carter. And I'm just going to hope and pray that it works out. I'd rather have Shedeur Sanders than Abdul Carter. The Giants don't have a young quarterback for the future yet. And I know there's conflicting opinions about Shedeur Sanders, but I think that he'll get better. Those elements can get better. Whereas Abdul Carter, his whole thing is speed. He didn't develop multiple pass rush moves. But if he's on a defense where you have 3 defensive tackles, a nose tackle, or 2 defensive tackles, and 2 edge players locking down or soaking up all the blocks, and he's just have to get and he's only gonna get blocked single coverage, then I'm like, yeah, that could work. That could work. But with the Giants defense, that's not gonna happen. That's not gonna happen because you only have Dexter Lawrence. Dexter Lawrence is only gonna command 1 double team. Only 2 people gonna block him, right? But everyone else, who is he going to block? I mean, who's going to get blocked? Everybody can get single coverage blocked, right? On that defensive line. No one else demands a double team block. No one. No one demands a double team block with on the Giants line. No one. So they can actually game plan easily around that defensive line with Abdul Carter, Burns, Kayvon, and Dex, and whoever our defensive tackles are going to be, right? Only how it works if we draft Abdul Carter, if we also go out there and get an unstoppable defensive tackle. If we get a defensive tackle to pair up with Abdul Carter, then okay, I justify that pick. Well, without that, nah. Ado smells like farts in here. Why? Because I'm talking about the Giants. But yeah, so I just don't like the pick at number 3 with Abdul Carter for the Giants. It's a scheme thing. Our defensive coordinator does not like to blitz too much, so that means he's going to be a edge all the time, and he's light in the butt. He's a light player. He's barely 250 pounds. He's a light-ass player. So if he's that light and you got Kayvon and Brian Burns out there, that's still going to make us acceptable to the run. They'll just start running to the outside because They're that light. They're that light. I just don't like it. I just don't like it. If Travis Hunter is available at pick 3, draft Travis Hunter. The boy's a beast. He's going to play DB and have wide receiver packages, or start as a wide receiver and have DB packages. I believe he could lock down one side of the field, right? I believe he could lock down one side of the field. He's very strong for his lightweight, extremely fast. He moves like nobody else. He opens up his hips. He's extremely agile. And you put him on the defensive side, that's going to make quarterbacks scared to throw in his direction, just like Deion Sanders, right? And speaking on Sanders, Shedeur Sanders, if we don't draft him with number 3, which a lot of people don't think we should draft him at number 3, if we do draft him at all, I kind of hope, this is a long shot, that they trade into or back into the first round to get another high-level pick, either in Shedeur, because I don't think Shedeur is going to make it past the Saints or the Raiders. I just don't think so. I think the Raiders or the Saints are going to draft him if he's available. I think he's a really good player. I think he's going to be a really good player. The things that he lacks, Shedeur Sanders, is arm strength, right? It's a clear difference between Cam Ward and Shedeur Sanders, how they throw the ball. I saw that when they had their drills. You could hear the difference. And you could even see the difference, but you could hear the difference, how that ball leaves Ward's arm than Shedeur. Shedeur is an accurate passer. I think he's a smart enough player to be pretty good in the NFL, and he could get better at that. Arm strength, he could get better at, right? His arm could get stronger throughout a year of training it on a pro level. So I think he could get better with all those facets of his game that he lacks, right? So if you draft him, you have Winston and Russell being his tutors for next year. That's world-class learning. Plus, you have the tutelage of Deion Sanders and whatever all that stuff brings, right? He has pedigree. It's not nepotism, but I just think he would be a really good quarterback in the NFL. Is he going to be top 5 quarterback? Probably not. But again, that's why I say maybe not drafting him at the wait, do I have my Bluetooth on? No, good. Not drafting him so early. If we could get him a little later, trade back into that first round, yeah, but that's going to take a lot of capital to do that. So Travis Hunter is my number 1. My number 2 is Shedeur, and my number 3 is Abdul. That's my board for that first round. You know, I think Abdul is going to be a phenomenal player. He's going to be an even better player if he goes to a defense where everybody's getting sucked up by blocks and he's just running in doing what he do. He's going to be that's how Micah Parsons is. Micah Parsons is so good because at one point the Dallas front line was taking up all the blocks, right? So you're literally out there on an island trying to block Parsons, right? And that's why Parsons could play almost anywhere, is because other players are soaking up double teams and he's just knifing through whatever gap, the A gap, B gap, and being disruptive. I don't think Carter could be disruptive all by himself, and he will be trying to be disruptive almost all by himself. Football is a chess match and not checkers. Got to remember that. So that's I'm gonna bring it back to. I'm gonna circle all the way around back to ESG, because that's why I like ESG football, because it's a chess game rather than a checkers game. ESG football fire. Remember, I tell you that. But yeah, so that's what I hope what the Giants do. I hope the Giants go out there, get Travis Hunter. If you get Travis Hunter and then come back and get Shedeur Sanders some kind of way, I don't know how you'll do it, but if you could do that, you've won the draft. And then every, second round, the positions of need that the Giants have are We need defensive tackles. I mentioned that earlier. We have a nose tackle that's an elite player, right? Dexter Lawrence is an elite player. You got to get strong pieces around. He can't do it all by himself. He can't look. As soon as he's subbed out, teams are just running all through the middle of that Giants defensive line and defense. Right, our run defense last year was terrible. But we have Dexter Lawrence, right? So we need more pieces around Dexter Lawrence. We need heavy, big dudes to stop the run. And I hope we draft that if we have our second pick, right? Our third round pick, go get a defensive tackle. I heard this draft is really deep in defensive tackles. So go get him. Go get a defensive tackle. I don't care who it is, as long as they're a good player, right? And a big guy. We need depth at defensive tackle. We also need depth at corner for sure. I don't know if in the mid rounds we could go out there and get a cornerback with the second in the second or third round, but we need a corner. We need corner depth. But if we draft Hunter, he could be our second corner, and we got Adebo, Hunter. That's our two starting cornerbacks, and Hunter coming in playing some wide receiver every once in a while with Malik Neighbors. Ooh, nastiness. So yeah, we'll see. So an offensive line, we need offensive line depth as well. And I don't know who. See, again, it all depends on what we're going to do with that second pick, if we're going to trade it or not, or what. To get back in that first round, if we do that, I don't know. I really don't know. But yeah, that's what, I just hope the Giants don't get Carter that first pick. And if we do get Carter, I am hoping that it works out. I really am. But anyway, that's all I got to say. And Kurt, again, thank you for bringing up that topic. That was a good segue. I should make a whole video on it. But yeah, that's it. I'm out of here. You guys have a great day. That's my little Giant special. And yeah, you guys have a good one. Take care now.